Well, firstly, thank you for attending and coming to hear a little bit about the ELECO group. Got 15 minutes just to give you a bit of a background on ELECO, if you don't already know what we do, tell you a bit about our portfolio, and then just give you an indication as to where we see some of the growth opportunities moving forward. Just a little bit of background on me. I used to work at ELECO when it was a much bigger business than it is today, and ran the software division. I then spent 7.5 years working at Microsoft and came back as the CEO of ELECO in July of last year. And the one question that I keep getting asked by colleagues and friends and investors is, so why did you come back? Why did you come from such a large player in the industry as Microsoft with such a great reputation? Hopefully, by the end of this presentation, you'll realize why I made that decision. It kind of writes its own story, I think. So, as I said, a bit of a background on ELECO, what our products are, and where the future growth comes from. Now, the interesting thing about ELECO as a business today is that if you're interested in software and services, if you like the construction space, if you like well-run, profitable businesses with growth opportunities, then you're in the right presentation, because that's what we're all about. The business, as you'll see, was actually part of a larger corporate entity that was involved in construction. And its growth was constrained by that corporate entity because since 2007, ELECO had a number of challenges in its non-software assets. But from January of 2014, all the business does is software, unencumbered by the legacy businesses. So it's always been profitable. The company, actually, ELECO, has been on the market since 1939. And the software businesses, some of them, we celebrated our Swedish business's 40th anniversary just the other day. So we've been around for a long time. It's a great basis to growth, as you'll see as we go along. And we can see 3 or 4 key opportunities for growth that I want to talk to you a little bit about. So, as I say, a bit about the background. Part of a larger construction business. You can easily see that through looking at the report and accounts. We weren't able to really exploit our full potential as a business because every time we generated profit, we generated cash, that was diverted back into the centre to support the broader business. It's testament to the existing management team that we were able to navigate through what was a really difficult time for the company and come out as a fully fledged, fully intact software business. Aim quoted, as we say at the moment, but we've been on the market for a considerable amount of time. Little quote here from our executive chairman, which I think sums it up quite nicely. Just have a quick read through that. But essentially, got our refinancing done in July when I joined. Now we can kind of start investing in our future. So the business is predominantly based in Europe in terms of our permanent operations. The UK, Sweden and Germany being what we call our core, our home markets. We have a lot of customers. We have a diverse set of customers across multiple markets. In fact, we sell our software either directly or through resellers in over 50 countries. So we've got a really nice spread, and they're all predominantly construction focused. In a lot of the home markets we're in, we have market-leading positions. So in our project management business, for example, we have 69 of the top 75 general contractors in the UK that use our software. In our flooring business, we have 70% of the European flooring manufacturers that use our products. That's a fantastic platform for growth, as is our recurring income. We have around a 97% renewal rate, and in 2013, we achieved around a 45% of our income from there. So a really solid, predictable base to build on. As I said, we've got multiple opportunities for expansion. This is the kind of the wheel or the portfolio that we talk about. Now, I wouldn't expect you all to know about the construction market, but if you think about it in terms of segments, there are a lot of participants. There are architects, there are financiers, there are project planners, there are estimators, there are subcontractors. It's a very complex scenario, and there are lots of different applications, paperwork, and what have you that sit in that process. And historically, all of those technologies, all of those participants were disparate. No one really talked to each other through technology. If you look at our portfolio represented here around that wheel, we pretty much have a piece of technology for every stage in the life cycle of a development. The only piece we don't have is facilities management when you hand over the build once it's completed. And what we also have to bring that all together, one of the areas in terms of innovation is we have a cloud service that starts to stitch all those participants together. Now, I'll talk about BIM later on, but this is a government-mandated body of work, business information modeling, which is about how do you get that data, that information to pass through a project consistently. So we kind of hold a lot of the cards because we have products across all the stages, and we're bringing it together with that glue, that cloud service, both for our customers and actually for third parties who just want to use the technology. So we've got an interesting mix of products. We spend about £2.6 million a year on development. We're really proud of that in terms of investing in innovation, and we've got some really exciting stuff across the portfolio. And some of the things we're doing just over the last 6 months is trying to bring those brands together. If you look at the history of the business, historically the businesses came through acquisition. So there's a degree of consolidation around our story that's coming through, whether it's technical consolidation or branding. It's probably better to see this on our stand, but we do some really innovative things. We host about 75 of Europe's manufacturers, as I said, in the flooring market. The websites we host have just shy of 2 million unique visitors per year, 640 million page impressions that we support, okay, in that area. We just did, as you might have seen on our RNS release, a show in the US called Surfaces around the flooring business. Had a fantastic response. We genuinely believe we're one of the few people in the market that has software focused on this area. Archon, if you've seen Grand Designs, we had a partnership with those guys over a couple of years, being able to allow self-builders, URI to design a kitchen, to design your own home, right the way through to architects. You know, the start of most construction projects. Great tool, and in fact we launched a new version of that at BAU, the German building show, just, well, in fact I'm going to say last month in January. Very well received. That's one pillar, if you like. That's visualization, those two products. The second part is project management, the industry-leading solution in the UK, Aster Power Project, essentially a project management tool allowing you to define activities and see how those change over time. Again, you'll be able to see this if you go to the stand, or we've kind of flyed everybody, so you've got the portfolio. If you're sitting, you're probably sitting on the brush, you haven't got it. But this is some examples. You know, our tools are used for landmark projects such as the Shard, the Olympics, the Reichstag. So we think we've got great technology and some fantastic references in terms of customers that are enjoying the benefits of the product. So that's the position. We've got mature products, market-leading products, recognised for their strength. But there's some market drivers out there that are helping us, and BIM, as I said, is one of those. In simple terms, BIM is about making sure that data that starts with an architect's plan travels through all that complexity of those participants, those versions, the documentations, the changes, the updates, the revisions, that flows through a project and the integrity of it's retained. Now, every salesperson and every investor likes something that's mandated by government. BIM is a body of work, but the UK government has mandated that if a construction organisation wants to get in a build project with them in 2016, they need to be BIM compliant. And we can offer our customers and our prospects a BIM compliant solution today. We're starting to see that percolate across the industry, but it's forcing participants to start to think about integrated services, and that's absolutely a solution that we can offer to people. There are loads of others, but we just want to highlight a few of them today. Again, we have some cloud solutions in our portfolio. As I said, I mentioned the eSign web services. We have a platform for BIM that's based on Microsoft's Azure platform. So again, we've got some really compelling market trends that we start to see there, and BIM in of itself, as well as an industry or as an industry standard that's starting to really mainstream. You know, not just through government mandating, but just through customers realizing they can get cost efficiencies, quicker decision making, better collaboration by using it. Sorry, this is a bit of an eye chart. I apologize for this, but just to give you an idea, essentially we have 3 pillars to our strategy over the next 3 years. The first thing we want to do is to consolidate our position in our strong European home markets. That's about making sure those businesses continue to be stable, continue to deliver us great results, but also making sure that where we've got our estimating practice in Sweden, that we start to see that being sold more into our customers in the UK and in Germany. So it's stability. And sticking to what we know, we are predominantly construction focused in where we get our revenue. The second thing is territory expansion. Again, predominantly in Europe over the next 12 months. But as you've seen from the announcements here in January, we're starting to do more and more in the North American market. As we've also said, channel is another thing we're looking to do more of. Reseller, 5% of our revenue comes from channel at the moment. We sell in 52 markets, but we're recruiting to beef up that area as well. And the third thing is that we have products which are very strong on their own, but as a portfolio, you think about BIM and bringing that together, becomes more compelling. We can speak to customer about a solution rather than an individual product set. That means we can get higher average revenue per customer. We can get higher up to the CXO kind of discussions. We're seeing that more and more, and the revenue per client starts to go up. And the fourth thing is operational excellence. That's about making sure that where it makes sense, we start to bring the branding together. We look for overlap in terms of functions, bringing developers together to have joint roadmaps. And again, another vital piece in the jigsaw, getting the right people in place. I'm delighted to say, you may have seen this morning that we announced that we've appointed Andrew Greenwood as our finance director. So another vital piece in the jigsaw. It's all part of this evolving story. I probably got a little bit of time just to talk about some of the those areas that we're working on. We talked about integration, having a cloud-based service that allows our portfolio, those three legs, so visualization, 3D, time, fourth dimension, believe it or not, and the fifth dimension, cost, is something that historically project managers and people involved in construction projects have found it very difficult to do. We can do that today with our project management tool with 3D, so you can see how a building evolves in 3D over time just by using a slider. You apply cost and you can see the implications of what happens with a delay, the cost impact, but also the build as well. So aggregating all those together, either offline using someone's PC or in the cloud, becomes really compelling. As I said, we can monetize that on an ongoing basis with subscription. It gives us a great platform to do other things like collaboration around documents and version control and things like that. We're seeing some really good success, as I said, around territory expansion in the North American market. We've done a great job, colleagues have, of recruiting a channel there in our project management business, and the evidence is that across other products we can see that they will travel into that market. So we feel really good about that as a market for us. We've seen some really strong pipeline building into 2014, and whilst we have fairly modest ambitions into 2015, the early indications are that that's going to be a great market for us. And take a longer term view, what about LATAM, what about MEA, what about the Americas in general? Well, there's plenty of space for us to grow, and the evidence again is that as a European-based business, our approach to innovation is something which gives us great differentiation, whether it's mature markets like North America or growth markets as we see in Asia. And Channel talked about that as well. The great thing about Channel is, that we can invest in resellers, we can invest incrementally in resource to support that, but we don't have to add an additional developer, we don't have to put more salespeople on the ground. So our ability to scale our revenue and in turn our contributions really starts to pay dividends for us. So just to summarize, if you're interested in software businesses that have stable backgrounds, a long pedigree with reference customers, going, and a stable platform for growth, we think we're an interesting prospect. We can see great opportunities for growth. Our biggest challenge is to prioritize the opportunities. As I said, we've got those three things we're looking to do: focus on our core markets, selective territory expansion, and start to provide an integrated portfolio. We think that will start to give us accelerated growth, and who knows where that can take us in terms of the prospect for the business. But that's really it. Thank you very much for your time. I'm 50 seconds ahead of time. I hope that's okay. No time for questions, but we are at stand 23. If you'd like to see the products brought to life, we have internet connection, we have the products installed, so come and have a talk to us. If you're an existing shareholder, thank you very much for your support. And if you're a prospect, come and talk to us and find out a bit more about the business on the stand. So thanks for your time.